Hey everybody, I'm at the NFL Draft Media Luncheon in Nashville, and I'm going to go in and check out what's happening. Here, we're at, it's called the George Jones Music Place or whatever. Cool. All right.
Looking for the Titans to draft defense first round. It's a defense-rich draft. There's a lot of info out there. Yeah, I like it. What went the other way? DK's there at 19. Go after that.
I don't know that I do. I mean, that's something that obviously John Rollins and Matt Ring I like DK. Josh is big and as strong as powerful as he is. I don't think change direction and that's something that people need and something that you really want. Remember, they've already got a big receiver out wide for Davis. So you got a guy there. Could he pair him and go with bigger receivers? It's not a bad idea in a way as well because you give your quarterback wants to get a target. Catch radius, get those throws out to these big guys with big bodies, not big awesome. So DK could do that, but I don't think so. Go in that direction.
Charles, Keith from the University of Missouri. I wanted to talk to you about second quarterback off your board. How does he fit the Denver Broncos scheme going out there? Of course, John Elway, the general manager, success with the Broncos.
Yeah, he kind of fits John Elway as a player, although let's not make that the pure comparison. John Elway was awfully special. Right, John Elway was no question the top player in his draft. Probably could have made it pro baseball if he wanted to. There's a specialness to him. Drew's a terrific athlete. We know he could have been a basketball player, the whole deal. But he plays in a way that's similar to John Elway. If you go back and watch Elway's tapes, the buzz phrase off schedule, off platform, we're using the heck out of it right now. You're hearing it all over the place. Every draft has different buzz phrases. That's one of the biggest ones for quarterbacks. Go back to Drew's pro day. They didn't just script regular throws for him. They scripted true off-platform, off-schedule throws, what they call second reaction, third reaction throws. Drop back in the pocket, don't have it there, move there, don't have it there, go there, throw off your back foot, throw off of this. That's what he does really well. Go back and watch John Elway's tapes. It's almost, I say it's a carbon copy. Because you see elements of that in his game, plus the big arm. That's why I think that a John Elway would be interesting.
Do you think he competes with Joe Flacco for that starting position for the Denver Broncos?
I don't think so right away. If they did take him, they brought Flacco in for a reason. A veteran guy who's won a Super Bowl. They want to get established that way. But this, if you draft a quarterback, as soon as they possibly can, they would insert him into the lineup, and the Joe Flacco experiment would be over. But by all indications, they're trying to make that an extended deal. But it all comes down to, do you stay healthy, do you play well, and do you draft a quarterback at 10? That'll be the interesting thing for Denver.
Charles, I wanted to ask.
Nice meeting you. Could you tell him, hey, for me, Ms. Zoo? Good to see you. I think that his best football is ahead of him. Talking about Jarrett Stidham, I think that the last year wasn't terrific. Offensive line issues, they didn't play up to capabilities. They were a top 20 team. They didn't come close to beating that team. But when I watch Stidham, throws a pretty ball, does a lot of the good things in and out of the pocket. The big thing for me with him is pressure. Will he hold up versus pressure against him? Can he make those adjustments versus the pro guys coming at him? I think he has that opportunity, but I don't have him super high in terms of where I would place him in my quarterback rankings. But I also think that his best ball is ahead of him. If he can solve that issue, he throws the ball pretty darn well. I mean, I love that. Plus, I think there is an innate toughness to him. Remember how he started college? The Bama thing doesn't work out. He's got to go to JUCO, work out with high school kids for a while, comes back, gets it done with, Auburn, ends up having a big year 2 years ago. He's bounced around a little, so I don't think he'll be phased by anything. If there's a bump in the road early, I don't think that'll phase him. Like, if he's seen what I went through to get here, that'll allow him to battle.
You've seen the teams that his style.
I think that in the NFL now, we're finally getting to the point where coaches have figured out, I'm going to coach your kid for who he is, as opposed to saying, you have to fit my scheme. Because, it's almost like watching that movie, Mr. Holland's Opus years ago, where he said, well, he can't do it, he just can't do it. And Eddie Thomas said, then you're a lousy teacher. In other words, figure it out, teach him, coach him, get him right. And so I think that's how it is in the NFL now. Very few guys left in the league that go, guess what? You can't fit my system because they do what I do. In other words, they figure it out.
How was Brian Burns as a run defender? I know his pass rushing.
Yeah, he got better last year at Florida State. If you watch the tape, he got a lot better at doing that. What happened with Florida State was they had such a rough year, Dave, that I think that what happened was he tried to make a play on every down. So instead of just handling strictly your run assignment, he started getting out of lanes, started trying to get upfield to make a big play, and I think some of that hurt him. So if they ever did stop the run on first down, if it was second and long, he straighter stance. If he was gone, he'd run the draw back inside. I think overall though, he got better playing with better discipline. And if you look at his body at the end of the season last year, and then look at his body during the run up to the draft, you can see he's starting to transform. He doesn't look just like a flanker anymore. He looks more like a guy that's starting to put on some heft, and there's more to come.
You said the Lions talked about playing all over, but playing outside linebacker. I mean, in that system
Makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because of that length. And if you watch him on tape, he was on his feet a lot. 2-point stance. The thing about guys like him, though, I look at him. I look at Vic Beasley when he came out of Clemson. That's great to have all those ideas, and we end up on a whiteboard and we go X's and O's, and you go here and you go there. Sometimes we get too crazy with the X's and O's. You know what he does? He rushes the passer. So let him go rush the passer. 2 years ago, I remember asking Atlanta, why am I watching Taylor Vic Beasley go? Am I missing something? And they had some injuries, so they were asking him to do things that he had, because of that. But they did say to me, yeah, he should be rushing the passer. Watch this year in Atlanta, because, you saw what happened. Dan Christian on the defense. I have a feeling Vic Beasley will drop 10 times all year long. So I just think that the same thing with Brian Burns. You know what you're getting? Can you coach him to do it? Of course you can. Does that benefit your defense? That's something they have to ask.
Who do you have for the Lions? How you think he
I'm
fits?
trying to remember who I had for the Lions in my last mock. I think I might have gone maybe. I can't even remember. I know that's sad.
We're getting old. We've been here too long, man.
Oliver? Or is that
Oliver.
It's funny because Oliver was down there, and lately all my colleagues, I see a lot of my colleagues have him like 3 or 4. And Oliver's going all the way up. I've got him at 8, and everybody's looking at me like I've got, in the middle of my head. A week ago it was at 12, 15.
Hey, can we be?
The answer I give nowadays sounds like I'm fly fishing, but I'm not. If a team has conviction about a guy and they think he fits, I don't consider him reaches anymore. And I'll tell you why. Travis Frederick. Remember that one? When did we have Travis Frederick during that time? Second, third round guy. Cowboys took him at 1 and go, whoa, what? How many Pro Bowls, how many All-Pros? That worked. Dwayne Brown. Late in the draft, the Titans saw a run on left tackle. They needed one. The Texans, they needed one badly. They actually, I don't know if they traded back in or if they sat there. They ended up taking Dwayne Brown, and many people had a third round grade on him. I remember him like it was yesterday. First round guy. I think that's worked out well. So I'm not saying they all work. You and I both know they don't all work. But the team has conviction. I don't really look at it as a reach as much, although most people would probably have 50 teams.
Hey, Charles, I got to ask you from an entirely different perspective. We've done this a long time. You and I, okay? Yeah, once or twice. All right.
Ride one more time.
This table used to be empty, man. I said, you're the genius. The 900-pound gorilla in the room is that Mayock's not here, so you're like the acknowledged genius, all right?
No, that's the end of Jeremiah.
Talk about, first of all, Mayock with the Raiders, your thoughts, and that whole business with the scouts being, excused,
Mike Mayock, as you know, tremendous friend of mine, tremendous colleague, and did a phenomenal job here in the years he was here. Mike approached this job like he was an NFL scout. So if you followed the trail all year long, and you were at pro days and all that other stuff, you saw all of them? Mike Mayock, who was in the middle of the scrum, timing, doing things. I'll never forget, I went to USC with him years ago. And you remember when USC's pro day was like the Oscars?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big deal, man, because they were just loaded with talent.
Yeah.
I had my son with me. He was pretty young at the time.
Now we're talking about real people, not people that were faked by the parents, right?
No. These
Just checking.
These are the real ones. These are not photoshopped in on an ergometer.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. So he has my son, who's probably 7 at the time, and I'm looking for my kid. Can't find the kid anywhere, and the scrum breaks after the 40s. And right there at the 40 line with a stopwatch is Mike Mayock, and right next to him with a stopwatch that Mike gave him is my kid.
Wow.
So Mike has always been involved in all this stuff, and I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to get my
Wait.
kid into
With
a
your
scrum.
kid, yeah. Well,
But
that's
I'm
okay,
telling
though.
you this, that Mike was in the middle of the scrum. He was right there at the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
He was doing his own timing for his own notes. He could have taken the time from everyone because you guys been to pro days.
Yeah.
So you know what it's like at the end of the pro day, right? At the end of each session, all the scouts gather and they read off all the stuff and they compare notes. Mike could have done that. Mike was doing his own timing. He wanted to know for himself. So he did that. He's always done it. He gained the respect of the scouts around the league in all 32 places, all of their buildings, by what he did, by showing up. Mike didn't come and announce himself. He just announced his work. So when he got the job, I will tell you a true story. When I run into the scouts, people around the place, there's 2 reactions. One, non-scouts, non-football people, or whatever. Wow, TV guy's gonna go be the GM?
Right.
How's that gonna work out? Blah, 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 blah. When I ran into scouts, personnel people around the league, know what I got? Felt like one of us got
Yeah.
the job.
The
That
draft,
tells you how
yeah,
it is,
right.
about How they felt about Mike and his work, the respect factor that was there. Now, kicking the scouts out of
And
the
can I
room,
add something? It also felt like, because we go back to New York and beyond, right?
Sure.
It felt like the draftnik got selected too, because we're draftniks.
No doubt,
So that's
no,
why,
no
you
doubt
know,
about it.
yeah.
But the draftniks have to be accepted by the rank and file.
Well,
He was accepted by the rank and file because he was able to get in there.
Noted,
And
yeah.
many of those occasions we never heard about when Mike was in a building. Mike was there visiting with a head coach, visiting with a GM. We never heard about those. But all 32 Mike got into. So as far as kicking the scouts out, remember, my teammate in college, Reggie McKenzie, was the former GM. Those are all his guys. Okay, for
Yeah.
the most part.
Okay.
It's not just that they weren't his guys, it's just that he and John Gruden as the head coach, I think, want to just tighten the circle, keep the board clean, and I will tell you, go to 31 other places, try and walk in a building and try and get on the floor where the draft board is, you might get taken
But
down.
look, I got non-disclosure.
It is
I gotta ask you.
everywhere.
I have non-disclosure agreements in my computer because I have my own company. Why can't they just have people sign them?
You could do all of that.
They do work.
Listen,
I can tell you as a guy who files lawsuits, they work.
They could do all that in the football world. They don't want. I don't know that they don't want to get into that as much as they're.
Maybe they just don't know about them.
Tight.
Maybe they just don't know about them.
Maybe, but I tell you, for them, that would be like an extra piece of paper. I'm just gonna keep it tight. The guys making the decisions are going to do it, and you bring me your reports. Appreciate it. You did your job. Nice report. That was great. This is wonderful. Terrific. And I'm making the darn decision.
All right, real quick shift gear. Why did Dwayne Haskins fall in terms of reports that he was falling, or did he fall?
Who knows if he actually fell? And that's the thing. It's us in the media who are getting this from somewhere. And remember, there are 32 ministers of disinformation out there right now. Every club is sending out stuff, whether they want to send out red herrings, whether they want to send out stuff to make you think I'm not going there. I still remember when Jay Cutler came out and got the phone calls from the Denver Broncos. He was like, "What? What?" And they were like, "Why was that such a big deal?" I haven't talked to anyone from Denver. No one called him. No one worked him out. No one did anything. Why? They locked in on him early, and they didn't want the rest of the league to know that they had interest. So Mike Shanahan, then as the head coach, ordered everyone, leave him alone. Don't call him. Don't talk to him. Don't do whatever. And they did it as surreptitiously as possible. And boom, he got the phone call. Was shocked by it. That's why I just say I don't know that he's actually fallen. We will find out come draft night. And even if he goes later than maybe people like me might expect, or people like you or whoever, that doesn't mean that he was evaluated higher or lower or whatever. It just depends on how it goes. Plus, as I told someone before, teams have convictions about who they like. So every board says something different. If Haskins doesn't go to this team, well, maybe that team didn't have it. This team over here is like, hey. We really want you. So we'll see, because you know it all starts with quarterback. If Murray goes one as expected, and I still expect him to go one. Who's the race for number 2? Wow, Haskins. I think it's those two.
Right.
I don't think it's a third guy.
Where do you put Tyree Jackson in
Why
there?
don't you
Tyree
think it's
Jackson being the third round. I think third, fourth round is when it starts for him. Big, long-arm guy, but I thought he had a terrific Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Showed some really
Oh,
good
yeah,
athleticism. He's got to get everything working in concert because he's so darn long. That intermediate, the deep ball, is gorgeous. That layup throw.
Yeah, but I got to get after Jeremiah because he says he can't throw short, and he's saying this, and he buggy whips a pass for a touchdown. I thought, is Daniel watching the game? So I got to go over and give him a hard time.
You go give him a hard time. If you go back and watch the tape,
Yeah.
you're going to see if there are misses, it goes from downfield where
Right,
we're confident,
right.
that smooth
Get up.
check down that might not be quite right yet, because getting all these parts at 6'7" working together is a lot tougher than it is a more compact.
He's like Flacco, though.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Good to see him, my man.
Charles, we
Got
got
it.
some Nashville guys that are coming up through the draft right now. I'm going to throw a few names at you. Emmanuel Hall, wide receiver, Missouri.
Can flat out fly. He did a nice job in the run up to the draft process. The combine, really